wanted to start a project that says hello to the world, and we wanted to get the world to say hello to us. That's why we created This Week in Ilustrado.
Actually, one of our students sent me a private message on WhatsApp, and what she
Okay.
told me is that how does someone um, still make sure that creativity is on something that they work on, even when it's influenced by trends or and about they even have you have to do this and do that, and this is the theme of it, and this is what we need to see.
Mhm.
How does one make sure that their personal creativity is still on that work, even with all of these rules and regulations that are put around that's something that you need to produce?
Mhm. In that case, then it's really a matter of execution. In the career field, especially, execution and the experience that comes with your execution is what puts you ahead of different people. So even if you were told to write a story or to make a poster or design a campaign based on all these existing key factors and influences, how you execute that campaign is entirely up to you. So, what are the dynamics going to be? How is this going to turn out? What kind of experience beforehand can you put into this work? And that's generally what makes it unique. The best writers out there and the best artists are anything but completely original in the things that inspire them, right? Everyone looks to something for inspiration, but what really makes them different is how they do their work, whether it's the combination of colors, the way they put a sentence together, or the way that they put a marketing campaign together to really sell an idea.
Perfect. And I hope that answers your question to the student who asked that via WhatsApp. And do you think being creative or creativity, was it something that you've always loved or found yourself wholly invested in? Or was it because of the environment that you grew up in, being in Illustrado and all of these things that you get exposed in personally? So which one is it for you?
Um, Honestly, it's just something that's always been around me. Uh, my parents come from they come from a background of the advertising and marketing industries, so it's always been there from the start. But at the same time, I was genuinely, very invested in things like drawing and expressing my creativity in any way possible. But your environment will definitely play a big part in your creativity. I'm very lucky that it's already in my family and that it's already in the work that we do. But for many other people as well, there's a lot of talented upcoming artists, entrepreneurs, businessmen, and so many things out there too. So it's really also a matter of positioning. Yeah.
And now that a lot of our students are in their final year, both our business students and creative computing students are on their final year. A lot of them may now stumble upon the question about creativity and technicality. So previously, when people think of the word or hear the word creativity, they think, oh, it's just free flowing. It's just anything that comes to mind. But now creativity has a lot to do about principles and technicalities as well, whether it's online and all of these. What would you advise our students in making sure that they do not lose sight of both their personal ideas, as well as all of these lines or borders around that are set for them?
Hmm. Good question, actually. I would say it's, of course, uh, work-life balance is very, very important for this. The more you overwork yourself, the more you're gonna think that you're just throwing yourself at your work and that your creativity is meaningless. It's very easy to get into this kind of pessimistic attitude. I know because I've been there also uh, as a creative and being in this industry. What really levels the playing field is being able to give yourself distance from your work uh, whenever it is needed. At the same time, also regarding creativity and technicality, technicality is always going to be there because it's going to be required from you as a person that will be having a career within the industry. But what will really set it apart again is your creativity and your execution. So on that matter, I keep repeating this, but it's all about finding ways to adapt, finding new ways to inject your ideas, and at the same time, being able to open yourself up and learn. Because if anything, the one thing that's going to change is your creativity and your ideas and your know-how. The technicality is always going to be there. It's always going to be a control variable. So it's all about learning how to conquer that, learning how to move forward, and learning how to inject new ideas into that.
I mean, BSU Sunday chat room is being about personal and really digging into how we can squeeze the best thoughts and insights from our guests. And I remember having more than a couple conversations with Val about creativity and work-life balance and how sometimes or most of the times it gets to the best of both of us. Being in being in an industry or in an era where especially social media and all these digital realm, it's nonstop. It's 24/7, and sometimes we find ourselves, this gets really tiring, and that's true. And I completely agree with Bao that we have to pause. We have to separate ourselves because sometimes when your passion is also your work, you'll slowly lose sight of that passion as well if you tire yourself and you exhaust yourself. So that's something that I've learned from Pao personally from our conversations. But
As well, actually,
yeah,
it's an uphill battle.
I completely agree. Um, Everything, every day that we experience all of these things, the creative block, it's a reminder for us to also consider that creativity has to do something about loving yourself.
Yeah.
So without that, there's no inspiration when you're exhausted. But one of the things that I'm really keen in knowing today about is BSU's pillars are creativity, culture, and enterprise. So again, back to creativity. So across our programs, whether they're under the creative computing program, they're under the business program, whatever their majors are or their specializations, the the university really tries to instill creativity in all of it. Like you said, execution. So whether it comes to their assessments, presentations, assignments, exams, there should be a way of executing creativity. So what would you advise students when they find themselves struggling with a creative block?
Oh, when it comes to the creative block as well, um, it's always going to be there. Nothing is going to change. Uh, the technicalities and all the obstacles are going to remain the same. You're never going to have to run away. I mean, you're never going to run away from having to prove yourself. Um, with regards to that, again, be open, be very versatile, and try to learn as many new things as possible in as many possible ways. You don't need to dedicate yourself to an online class to learn how to be creative. Sometimes it's within analyzing the technique of other people. Um, I like to say that being creative is a talent, right? You can call yourself a creative person, but being a creative in itself is an entirely different field. And I say that because talent is always going to be the product of passion and hard work. Those two are inseparable. you could say that somebody's very talented, but at the same time, they're really talented not because they can do things so easily, but because they've had the passion and drive to work hard enough to make it look easy. Don't just rely on your natural imagination and ability. Try to find ways to be able to generate ideas in your head so that you can overcome the creative block, or you could at least find new pathways to navigate it and build yourself up into a versatile asset so that you can apply your creativity wherever you go.
I'm learning too. It's always nice to have the student mindset or the learner mindset, and
Of
that was
course.
amazing. I mean, I too myself, even with all of the requirements, sometimes I say, we can't afford to have a creative block right now. But
Mhm.
hearing her words right now gives so much enlightenment. And there is a very familiar name on the comments on our Facebook Live. Okay, Paolo, what has been your most favorite creative project you've worked on?
Hmm. I have two actually. At Illustrata last year, we produced a campaign for Vivo's new mobile phone, the Vivo V20, and it was a video campaign. And the angle of that campaign was showing the flip side of Filipinos, how normal Filipinos can turn themselves into something awesome. So we had the chance to work with a lot of amazing people, and then on the back end, uh, we were curating the whole image, the whole look and feel. We were working closely with an editor, even on set. We were all over the place, and I think this was the first major project that I oversaw also, and you can actually find it online as well, and it was super awesome too because I even got the chance to use some of my talents there. I was even there was a dancing scene and I was just one of the people in there. So it was cool, I got to be on the front end and also on the back end, and that campaign also opened up a lot of opportunities for us. So I'm super proud of that one.
I could not agree more. That's one of my most favorites as well that you've worked on. It's super vibrant. Okay, it's super colorful. It just reflects so much about Vivo and the different cultures, the different talents that could be captured
Or
by a mobile phone. We're not plugging anything here. We're just talking about how amazing that project was. But I completely agree with Pao. But Pao, before we wrap up and before we pave our goodbyes, what's something that you would advise our students today who are watching that you wish you heard when you were a student?
Hmm. Okay, here's one thing I really wish I heard as a student. It might be controversial, um, but uh, going to school isn't everything. Going to school isn't everything, and I'll say this, with a passion because at the end of the day, once you graduate, once you get out into the world, experience is also going to matter greatly. And experience is what is going to define you out there. So you could study 100% of the time, like what I thought I could do. Uh, but at the end of the day, it's really, school is not only about credentials, it's also a testing ground for building yourself as a person. If you came out of school and all you had was grades, then it's not going to guarantee you a successful future compared to if you came out of school with grades and a mindset that allows you to learn from mistakes and take ownership of your work. Um, I think there's actually a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. Um, I creative block. No, not really creative block.
Speaking.
Creative, uh, Let me Google that now, really quick.
Go for it.
Yes. The function of education, right? And I quote, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character is the goal of true education. So I'm really glad to see that what you guys at Batspa are doing to support your community. Hopefully, my words today could have struck a chord or two, maybe enlighten some of y'all who are watching right now. And I really hope that to the students who are graduating and you students who are just coming in, that you can take as much as you can, so that you can give back even more and be as open-minded and intelligent and critically thinking as possible.
I think we're gonna quote one of your words or your lines today in one of our social media posting. Um, I
Sure,
really
I
love what you
probably
said
said
about
essays right now
mindset.
at this point.
Sorry.
I probably quoted a lot of essays at this point, so
Yeah.
yeah, you have a lot.
The writer in you, and we'll post this on our social media. Experience and mindset has big
Yes.
impact, and that's one of our students here. Actually, our student council president said she's taking notes, so she's
Great.
picked up she's picked up a lot. But Pal, thank you so much. It has been amazing, always amazing to share
Thank
the
you for
virtual
having me.
stage with you. And I can't wait to do more of these with you again. Not, I hope, not only online, but also physically. So,
Definitely. More
yeah.
than happy to come down anytime.
Thank you so much, Pao. And thank you for everyone who watched our first episode of BSU Sunday Chat Room. Pao, can you please tell our audience where they can follow you or Illustrado?
You could go to our newly revamped website at www.illustrado.co. That's .com without the M. You could find us also at Illustrata Magazine on Facebook and Instagram. And for my personals, uh, well, I'm here on Facebook already. You can find me at POW Benitez on Instagram. I wanted PAO, but PAO was taken, so I'm gonna have to work around that for now.
Amazing. For sure, you'll have a lot of followers at the end of this live stream, Pao, to gain more insights from you and
Looking
to get
forward to it.
inspired. Thank you so much, Pao. Always, always a pleasure to be with
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Thank you so much, Pao. Thank you so much to all our audience. Please stick around for some commercial and don't miss out next week for our BSU Sunday Chat Room episode 2. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.
Have a good day. Bye bye.